Welcome to the first video in this series in which I'll be showing you how to create a Google site for your course content from scratch. But before we jump in, let's review the entire 8-step process that I'll be taking you through. This process will start with accessing Google Sites, then the creation of a brand new site, followed by a tour of the tool layout. This will be followed by going through the site settings and site formatting, and then with adding pages to the site, setting the page options, and then wrapping up with adding content. Throughout the process, I will provide tips and recommendations on how to structure and organize your site so that you can easily link the content you create in your Google site to your Laulima course site. So let's get started with this first video in which I'll be covering the first 3 steps of this process. So first, accessing the Google site. The easiest way to access the Google site is through your Gmail account. Remember, Google Sites is an app included in our Google Apps for Education suite. So once you log into your email, go up to the top right corner where you see the 9 blocks. This is called the App Launcher. Click on that icon, and then you will see a list of applications. Find the one that says Sites, click on it, and that will take you to the Google Sites application. If you have used Google Sites before and you don't see a complete list of your sites, if that ever happens to you, don't worry. Click the refresh button, or F5 is the shortcut to refresh this page. Sometimes the server does not show all of your sites, so just a tip for the future. But here is the Google Sites application. In order to get started, you will click the Create button along the left-hand side. And on this page, because we're going to start from scratch, we're going to make sure that blank template is selected. And then you're going to type in a name for your site. I'm going to type in sample site. The name of your site can be changed at any time later, so don't worry too much about the name of your site at this time. Just name it something that you're going to recognize later. Notice that when I typed sample site into the name your site field, it auto-populated the next field, which indicates the site location. In other words, it's creating that site address or the URL to your Google site. You can customize this. You can leave it as the default, which is the same as your site name, or you can customize it and change it now. But keep in mind, once you set this site address and create the site, you can no longer change that address. So I would avoid using anything that has a definite date. So, if this is your fall 2016 course, I would avoid using that fall 2016. Otherwise, that's going to permanently be part of the site address. Okay, so I'm going to name this something very generic. So I'm going to say this is my ITSO 5 site. That way, if I repurpose it later and use it for anything else, it will have a semi-generic name that can be used with anything. All right, moving on, select a theme. So if I click on the arrow to the left of select a theme, you'll see thumbnails of all the different background themes that Google has created. These can be customized later. You can also switch out your theme later. However, I would recommend you take a good look through the themes now and pick something that you think you like, at least for now, because if you choose to change it later, and I'll show this to you in a future video, the thumbnails will be much smaller, and then you'll kind of be going randomly trial by error through several themes to find something. Also, something to note is that through trial and error, as we use the sites more, we have found that not all of the themes are created in a way that we can use it in Laulima. Typically, you see how some of these have these borders on the left and the right. Some of them are too narrow, and what happens is when we show that content in Laulima, sometimes the left and right borders get cut off, and if there's text in those borders, the text is not readable. In particular, we have found that this notebook theme and the legal pad theme have had issues. So avoid those two for now, and then later on, again, if we've run into a problem where a theme isn't working with Laulima, that's when we're going to ask you to maybe select a different theme. So for now, I'm going to pick something quite plain, and I'm going to pick Microlight. Okay. Scrolling down. There is a more options area here at the bottom under the themes, which just includes the site categories and the site description. And I would recommend just leaving those blank. We're not going to use that. So once you have your theme selected, go up to the top of the page, and that's where you'll find the red Create button. It is not at the bottom of the screen. Scroll to the top, click the Create button, and that's when Google will now create your site. Once your site has been created, you will be brought to this blank page. Google has already applied the theme. I picked a quite plain theme. So let me walk you through what you're seeing. This is the first page in your website. The page title by default is Home, and that's what's up in the top left corner. You see it is also listed again in the main body of the page under the gray bar. Above the gray bar, you see the word Sample Site. That's the title that I gave my site. Then along the left-hand side, underneath the gray bar, you see Home and Sitemap. That's the beginning of a menu tree, or what we call the sidebar. As you add pages, typically the website will add those page names into this list. A sitemap is just kind of an index. You might see that on a lot of different web pages or websites. A sitemap will kind of map out and show you all the different pages included in this site. If I were to click that now, you would only see the home page because we only have this one page in our website at this time. Along the bottom, these are default links that Google provides, and that's at the bottom of all of the Google site pages. You'll even see it at the bottom of the Google site pages that I include in the OCDP. Recent site activity, report abuse, print the page, remove access, and then the Powered by Google Sites tag. So don't worry about that. And then moving to the top right, what you see are very important. The first icon here, the pencil, that's how you will get to the editing screen to edit your pages. So if I wanted to change anything, add content, that's where I would go. The second one is to create additional pages. So right now, this is the only page in our website. So if I wanted to add a second page, I would use that button. And the third button here that looks like a machine cog or a gear is the More Actions button, and that provides a drop-down menu that I will take you through in the next video. Lastly, we have the blue Share button, and if you're familiar with Google Drive or some of the other Google apps, you can share the site with other people or keep it private. And again, this is a settings that I will take you through in a future video. Lastly, by default, we have a Search This Site box. So in some websites, you'll see search. Even in our Hawaii CC website, at the top, you see a search. So you can just enter a term and search the entire website for that term. So by default, that's added to our web pages. For now, I want to end this video with just one quick action, and that's dealing with this home page. So again, this home page is where viewers will come if they enter the basic address of the website. This is the landing page or the home page for the website. We're going to recommend that you use this home page to house your syllabus. So I want to name it syllabus just as a marker for later. So to edit anything on the page, I will click the pencil. And now you see I'm in editing mode. You see our formatting bars and our tool menus. And home, this is the name of the page. So if I change it here, once I save it, it'll also change it in the top. I'm going to leave that there so you remember that that's the home page of the site for now. But in the main body, this next rectangle field, that's the body, I'm just going to type in, use this page for the course syllabus. Okay, and then just like any other editing, I can use bold, I can change the color or the highlight. Okay, and I'll click Save at the top right. That will save my changes and apply it. So now all I have done is edited the content of this page to add that wording. So I'm going to end this video here, and we'll continue in a following video taking a closer look at that More Actions button and going through the different settings and options for your new site. So see you in the next video.